We have a special guest today, so I'm excited to introduce Greg Houldcroft. And you can make your way up if you want, because he's going to introduce himself as well. But why don't we give him a round of applause? Give him a warm welcome, I should say. And we mentioned it last week. Greg is a missionary, I guess you would say, youth pastor of Brockville, maybe we could say, you know. And he's been in youth ministry for quite a long time. It's incredible. And he's got an amazing ministry here in Brockville that we support. And so we have the opportunity to talk with him today, hear how things are going. He can give us an update, and he's going to share some words of encouragement as well. Greg, for those of you who don't know you, why don't you give yourself a little introduction and say a bit about what you do?
I'm Greg Houldcroft. Where to start? Oh, man. We wanted to start something that could reach into the community, and specifically with the kids. And that was kind of our goal. I think there's a picture later on, but you guys support the Williams. And just in talking with them, the canvas is so much cleaner on a grade 3 to 6 than a person that's maybe in their 40s and they're just trying to get to know who God is. So for us to be able to have that opportunity to put seed into the hands of these kids in our community, it's incredible. And so we started these after-school programs, which are called the Impact Zones, and we run them at the elementary schools. Now, we were at one point in St. Francis Xavier and Spencerville, and so we had a bunch of other ones, but COVID really killed volunteering and the ability for us to reach into there. So right now we're running in 4 different schools and about 80 kids with about 20, 25 volunteers. So we go in and we wanted to do something that we could help the community, but at the same time be authentic in who God and who Christ is, and try to live that out in front of them in a way that makes it attractive for these kids and for the volunteers, and I'm going to say for the parents and then for the administration that's in the school. So we kind of get to ripple through all of that as we do our programs in the schools. And our first one we started in was in Prince of Wales, which is now decommissioned, but it was one of those God moments because we really wanted to start something, and all the other programs that I'd heard about had to run off-site. And I just said, wow, God, if we could just get in the school and then run it right when the bell rings, that would be so amazing. And so I go in and I meet with them, and we're talking, and they're just going, Greg, this sounds amazing. I've got a double room upstairs that you could use, and we could start the program this Wednesday if you want. And I'm going, what? So it was just like, wow. And at this point, too, when we started the program, we were worried about, the insurance side of things. No one would touch us. Like 4 insurance companies just told me straight up that you're just not worth the risk because you're dealing with children and youth. And on the 5th one, we finally got in and we started. And when we started, Wellington out in Prescott phoned and said, would you start a program? And then it just kind of went from there. And we're able to go in and give them a nutritious snack, talk about we have a story a biblical-based story that we share to the kids, and then we reinforce it with crafts and guest speakers from the community that come and visit the program. And it's just incredible for us to be able to do that.
Yeah. And how long ago was that you said you started it?
It's crazy. If someone would have said you're going to move to Brockville and start a charity, I would have said you were crazy. And be a missionary, I would have said you're even crazier. But it was funny. I came back from Africa, and a guy looked at me and when I returned, and he goes, you're going to go on to do missions. And I'm going, I don't know if that's true. Yeah. But here I am, and it's 14 years we've been running and going full-time off of the the blessing of the community and the individuals and churches. And I'm going to say you guys are probably one of our strongest pillars that we've had through the whole 14 years. It's such a blessing to be partnered with you guys, just the love and support and I just think of the history because I was just thinking today as we were worshiping, I'm going to remember when we were back at Trinity Anglican, the church down on King Street, and I'm going, and just to see where you guys are now, this is such a beautiful place now.
Because we're around the, I think, 16-year mark in terms of the life of the pier. So we're similar in age in terms of our ministries.
Yeah, it was pretty. I think, that's and just a side note is, I've got some of that Trinity Church in my garden that's holding the flowers in. So I get to look at that all the time. But it's incredible. I've been here. I moved here. I always say this just as a joke, not as a joke, but I moved here in '99, so the year after the alleged ice storm. So and from there I've been doing youth. So it's just crazy to think 25 years of youth and 14 years of missions, and God is good. And we've been, and as I said, you guys have been such a key part of our ability to be able to reach into the community and make a difference. So thank you for that.
And that's an incredible stat. If you look up the stats for youth pastors, it's in terms of longevity, it's not a good one, especially even in the first year, the amount of youth pastors that don't make it through the first year. So let alone 25 years, that's incredible.
I've seen a lot of youth pastors come and go, and but it's been a real, even in that, it's been a blessing. They bring, so much love and energy. It's amazing. So,
did you have a video? Do we want to play that video now? Or
maybe if we could show this. This is a video from, I think we shot it at Wellington, but it just kind of gives a description and a feel. I think we showed one earlier about the chairs and how much an empty chair, the potential that there is for the kid that sits there. But this one more looks at the program and from a volunteer's perspective, I think.
So go ahead and play that now.
No, this is the chair one.
A chair gives a student a place at the table, a place where I am loved and respected for who I am.
A chair welcomes their story, where my hurts are comforted and my victories are celebrated.
A chair offers them safety, where my walls come down and my conversations begin.
A chair brings them sustenance, where I'm nourished and my soul is fed.
A chair inspires their dreams, where my horizons are expanded and the stars are within reach.
With the stars are within reach, okay? But a chair will remain simply a chair if it doesn't have a champion. A champion to believe in them, to pray for them, to support them. Will you be that champion?
Awesome. Yeah, that's beautiful. So maybe you could tell us a bit about what it's like, doing youth ministry, youth mission here in Brockville in 2024.
24, oh. I was just actually sitting there thinking, and I'm going, it's really changed, I'm going to say. One of the things that we really wanted to be able to do is be, genuine in how we present Christ and practical. And that's kind of two things that we've tried to. And I think that's what's given us some longevity, and even, I'm going to go respect within the community, because we've been we just are staying the course. We're continuing the journey, and it's not all over the place. We're consistent, and that really gives comfort to the schools that we're in, because even in sometimes they'll have students that they're struggling with, and they'll even suggest that child be enrolled in our after-school program. And so we see that a lot. There's a real range within the program. So you'll have, high-functioning kids that are just want to be part of something. And one of the beautiful things is we offer, it's free. So it gives parents an opportunity for them to have a night of maybe 3 hours. And I don't know if anyone here has ever had kids to get 3 hours just to go and have a coffee by yourself is an incredible moment. So for us to be able to do that is amazing. And but it's really changed as far as I've really started to look at the volunteers, because the volunteer base has kind of changed too, as well as the youth. So the youth go from highly functioning to even high risk. Just really, you can just tell, like even this week, one of the kids was really struggling, and sometimes I'll just pull them outside and say, what's going on? Like, are you having a rough week? And they'll kind of confide in you, and then just say, it's a tough day. So, we just kind of help them try to manage that and regulate in those moments. And from the volunteer side of things, that's the other thing that's kind of been exciting, is there's been a real change in that. I love, like, I'm going to say Donna is just, she's like a rock coming into Vanier, and sometimes...
Donna's right there, not to center her out.
Because Vanier has its special things that makes it special. And but sometimes there's up to almost 25 kids. And we really want to keep our numbers at 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, so we can invest in the lives of these youth, not just, herd cats, you know what I mean? So we want to make sure that we can help them and then just kind of interact in that. So the other thing that's kind of changed is the use of, there's a lot of international students which come. And I'm going to say Rink is here. Oh, okay. So she comes out every week and helps out. And we've got maybe 6 international students in our volunteer base. And you just think God's bringing the world to us. As we're sharing to the kids, we're sharing to the volunteers. And I'm going to say, even within Commonwealth this week, I was like going, we have 13 kids and 13 volunteers. And it's just like I'm going, but my volunteers are probably, some of them are at the level with the kids as far as knowing about God or stuff like that. So that's what's kind of cool about it, is it's almost like you're running a youth after school program for kids, and you're getting to pour into the lives of these youth, but also the kids at the same time. So it's just amazing. I just had another student that wants to be part of it, and I can, they're maybe a little on the spectrum, but at the same time, they're just so happy to be able to volunteer. And I just welcome this opportunity to love on everyone that's coming into this program, be it a volunteer or a youth. So from our perspective, it's just like, it's incredible. Like, I know we talked Like, you just think in this area. Leeds and Grenville, we were talking about this week, and it's just like, there's probably, I think the ages are, let me just see if I'll get this right. Ages 5 to 9, there's almost 5,000 youth or kids in that age. And in this area from 10 to 14, another 5,000, and then 15 to 19, almost 6,000. And you just think of the fields that are white with harvest that are out in this community. And you just look at all the programs. Like, that's what I look at. The other day I was just kind of sitting there thinking about puzzles and how beautiful puzzles kind of they kind of connect. And they all make a bigger picture. And I'm doing this, and you guys are doing wonderful things within the community. Like, I just think of all the stuff from loaves and fishes and Sunday suppers and your support of missions, and even within Brockville and internationally. It's just incredible. I just want to say another thing. I know this is probably like linear right now, but every week we've received a phone call from you guys and just to ask for prayer. Pretty special. So we really, that's what I say, we really are so appreciative of you guys. And yeah.
We appreciate you, that's for sure.
Yes.
What are, we talk about how we're in they call it a post-Christian culture, where Christianity is far from being a dominant influence now. And so you have, generations that don't know anything about church life, maybe even don't know anything about Jesus, So it's a unique space to be in, different from when I grew up or when you grew up, What are some of the challenges that you kind of face as you're trying to help and in so many ways, and you're also trying to introduce them to Jesus and Christ's love. So what are some of the unique challenges you see that you're facing, and even ways that we can be praying for you within those challenges?
Yeah, I would say I would almost go as high as 95% of the youth in the programs, and I would really have really no idea who God is. So we get the privilege to introduce that. And yeah, the challenge is a lot of times, I know this analogy, when you're dealing with people that are Jewish, they've got all the Old Testament that you're just kind of lining up to who Jesus is. Where for us, it's almost like the Greeks, where there is none of that backstory. And so you're going back to the beginning. We talk about creation and about some of the characters through the Bible and how God helped. Like, one of the things we do is in our curriculum, it's healthy habits for healthy teens. We go through Steve Covey's. So sometimes one of the habits is, begin with the end in mind. So have a plan before you begin stuff. And this is I think our second year curriculum, but it's just, with that, you're just kind of going, we talk about Noah and how he had a plan, and then how his plan saved his family, and then how Christ saved us. And we get to draw all that out. Like, even we just went through the Easter, we went through Palm Sunday, Jesus' crucifixion, and the resurrection with these kids. And at the same time, we kind of add in crafts and speakers and things like that to try and, cement that stuff. I think all the years of VBSs, and then that's another joy in my heart when I think of you guys, just VBSs. One of the things is they just kind of hammer down on something for a month, or like the whole time you're in the VBS. And that's what we've kind of adopted here, is every month we kind of just hammer down on something, and then just to really reinforce it, so that when these kids walk away, and there's times like I'll talk to kids about, Goliath, and we've done a dramatic reading, and this kid can still cite it 3 years later, So it's amazing the opportunity that we're getting to just pour into the lives of these students and to help them along their way. Because I'm going to say for some of these students, life has not been an easy road. And there are things that these kids are dealing with that some parents are in jail and you can't imagine how these kids function. And it's amazing. Like, I'm going to read a story later where it just talks about it's a safe place. And that's what we guarantee for that 2 hours. It's a safe place for them to be loved and encouraged and just told about that there's someone that loves them, whose name is God. And, when you think of all the things in our world right now, for some of these kids, because some parents are going, well, my kid's asking about God, so could you talk to them? And you know what I mean? Because they don't have that opportunity, or there isn't that place now to kind of flush that stuff out and try to figure this out. So it's amazing that we also can create that space for these kids to be a part of that. And now, one of the things that's kind of neat about what we're doing is you just sit there, you're going from grades 3 to 6, we get to work with these kids. And there's 4 years of curriculum, and we go through that. And then on the grade 6 to 12, we're running Crosstown Youth down at Wall Street to try and capture the community kids or give them another place to continue to grow that journey as we're going. But also from grade 8 to 80, we'll say plus, we also have volunteers. So you look at it, and then this summer we're hiring an intern. So for almost 11 years, we get to journey with these kids, and which is pretty incredible that we get to do that. And I'm just, you're almost humbled by that, just to be able to be part of their lives for that long and to speak into their lives, right?
That's such a unique, incredible thing. What are some, maybe some stories of transformation that you're seeing, or, some things that you're excited about that have been happening?
I'll just read the story.
Sure.
Is that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And I'll try not to let the waterworks go. One of the things, as I said, is we get to work with youth and kids. And now I've changed the names of the kids in this just so, but this person actually gave me the okay to write this, to read this story. So that's another, so right off the bat, it says, I appreciate you guys' support of Crosstown Impact. It genuinely is appreciated. And this story is from a student from Crosstown Impact's program. So this is kind of her testimony. Last year when we go to the Blue Mountain Hike with the kids, we have them do devotionals. And she wrote this, and it was just, oh my goodness. Couldn't keep it together. It was so, just, you don't know if you're crying for joy, but also crying for hurt. You know what I mean? So, this is a 6-year journey about Rachel, and we've changed her names, who now volunteers at 2 of our Crosstown Impact zones. So, through the program, now she's volunteering at 2 of them. She wrote this. She goes, I was about 10 when I moved to Brockville. I was scared, and I knew no one, and I had no friends. But one day in my school, I heard an announcement that there was an after-school program, and the new friends there I had made were excited about it. I mean, I didn't really know why, so I asked them about it. And they told me, it's a group where you can do homework, meet new friends, and learn things about God. They told me to try it out, and I was a little hesitant, but I knew nothing about God or even who he was. So I decided to join anyway, and it ended up being the best decision of my life. I learned so much and met so many amazing people. It was an opportunity I wish everyone would take. My last year of youth, there was cut short because of COVID. So at COVID, we had to stop the programs. After that, I slipped away from it. I didn't care about God. I just wanted to be around friends and do stupid things that kids do. In all honesty, I was embarrassed. Everyone around me made fun of God and said he wasn't real. And if you believed in him, you were a loser and the attention-seeking, looking for someone to make you different. Grade 8 came around, so that's 2022. It was the hardest time of my life. I'd picked the wrong group of friends. I didn't want to be in from the beginning, but I had no choice. No matter how many times I ran and hid, they found me. They dragged me back. They weren't like drugs, but toxic, manipulative, and cruel. They betrayed me, stabbed me in the back, and hurt me. I felt lost, broken, beaten, and betrayed. The friends I thought I could trust, the boys I thought were brothers, betrayed me. I lost the battle, and I didn't know what was happening. February was the worst for me. I was broke, and that's when the plan came to play. But hey, in the end, I never had to talk with them again. I was almost free. The only thing I had to deal with was a broken heart, a bruised mind, and worst of all, trust issues. Until God sent an angel to me. A girl who I'd once known talked to me for a while, and her name was Jennifer. She told me about youth and how Greg ran it. The second I heard Greg's name, I knew I was safe. I knew God had a plan. Greg was and is still my safe place. I don't think he doesn't understand how much he means to me and how much he means to all of us. He took my broken soul and helped heal it without even realizing it. On June 14th, 2022, I was finally free. I had so many opportunities since joining youth a year ago: Blue Mountain hike, camping trips, today's teen conference, the impact zone, and so much more. I don't trust people very easily, but every Tuesday I feel safer than ever. I got back some of that happiness and restored my life, faith in God. Becoming a volunteer is also something I would never regret, and I love talking to kids and about them, everything, not just about God, but about respect. Yes, there are bad days, but it's an amazing place to be, and it is so much fun. Even after everything that has happened, the Impact Zone and youth will forever be the best part of my life. I'm still not 100% of the person I want to be, but I'm in a good place thanks to Greg and the amazing opportunities he has given, not just me, but many people, and I will be forever grateful. Now, the follow-up to that is about a week or 2 weeks after, the girl that had told her she should go back to youth, that wasn't going to youth, showed up. And then she just kind of unloaded about everything that was happening to her. How she was being jumped at school, how her friends, they were jumping other kids, and it was just like one of their friends was put in jail, and then their friends turned on her. And so she came in and she just kind of shared all this, and we just asked if we could pray for her. And the whole time, she was just cried as we prayed for her. And the other day I saw her and I said, "You coming back to youth?" She goes, "I just don't know if I want to cry more, Greg." So, I just think it's amazing that we get to, like I said here, we had talked about it. I asked her if it would be okay if we would write this. And so she said, as soon as she heard I was going to maybe read it, she said, can I fill in some more? So that's why the story's a bit more. But I think as she was reading it around the campfire, as I said, I was in tears. And the tears of joy, but also the tears of hurt for these kids. And that's where I was just talking, I don't know if it was you, but I was talking to someone and I go, every one of these kids has a story. Every one of these kids carries around a hurt. And like the song even today, or actually Jason, when you were talking just before you prayed, it was just like the way that we kind of pretend everything's okay and inside we're just dying. And that's what's so amazing for places like this, or what we're doing in the community, or places where they can get food and hear about God. It's so necessary, and it's just a privilege to be able to be part of doing that. Yeah.
To have a safe place, like it's so hard to find a truly safe place, especially when you're younger, but for all to be able to provide that. I wonder if we could shift gears a little in terms of hearing kind of from you've already been sharing a lot from the heart about the teens, but I'd love to hear a couple things. And the one would be, what's something that God's been teaching you lately, maybe as you're ministering, or even just something that you'd like to share. I always love to hear, what God's up to. He's always teaching us something new, so I'd love to hear that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think one of the things that just the relationship of how being in missions works, I think that's kind of something that's been in Romans 10:14 and 15 it says, how then can they call on the one they have not believed in? And how can they believe in the one in whom they have not heard? And how can they hear without someone preaching to them? And how can anyone preach unless they are sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those that bring good news. That's Romans 10:14-15. And a lot of times when you think about missions, it's either it almost feels like there's a disconnect between the people sending and the goers, and you know what I mean? And then just what both of them are celebrating. And the big question is, we need people to be sent. But at the same time, we need people to be senders, or we need goers and senders, right? And the beautiful thing about the sender is they're the ones that kind of support, equip, and send the individuals. And this is what's been really resonating with me, is that each contributing to the mission of reaching the lost. And to share the gospel the sharing of the gospel, that relationship is a crucial role in order for that good news to be spread into the community. And I think it's something that a lot of times when there's a celebration, like when you even look at that, you say, how beautiful are the feet of those who bring the good news. I think those is not just the person that's out in the field, it's the person that's sending. It's that aspect of that relationship of the two of us working together. So, it's almost like this two becomes one. So the representation is when that person's on the field of mission or in the community or across the nation, maybe even Spain. It's all of us as one representing the good news of Jesus Christ. And I think that's something that really I've been reflecting on a lot lately, and I just love that this is a beautiful act of worship between the sender and the goer, and that opportunity for us to make a difference in the community. And there are seasons in our lives when we go, and there's seasons in our lives when we send. But we need to be doing one of them. And so that's kind of something that's really, really been encouraging me. I'll just see if this is, sorry. The other thing that sort of ties into that is John 14:36. And, it's the idea when Christ turns to the field and says, the fields are white with harvest. And when you hear about the numbers in our community, the fields are ripe with harvest. And I'm going to say right now, even for me, we could be in more schools. We could be in more schools. I don't know what's happening in this area, but God has given us the opportunity to do things that is unheard of all over the province. And but it says the harvesters are paid the good wage. The fruit of their harvest is the people who are brought to eternal life. What joy awaits both the planter and the harvester alike. And I just love that. What joy awaits us, the harvester and the planter, as the two of us work together, bringing the good news of great joy to the community that's around us. And I'm just I don't know, I wrote here, if that doesn't light your fire, your wood's wet. You know what I mean? It's we are so blessed with so much opportunity. And it's an interesting, we were doing a special event with the Impact Zone, and Gord Brown and actually, I'm going to get his name wrong, Steve Clark. They were both there, but his aide came up to me and said, how did you do it? We get inundated all the time where people are saying, we need the 10 Commandments back and the Lord's Prayer in the schools, right? And I says, but here you are. And he says, what did you do? And I said, we just did it. And I think sometimes we get so overwhelmed and we overthink that we miss out. And I'm going to just share with the youth side of things it was something like that. I remember I went to the Barron Canyon and did kind of a prayer thing with Robert Andrews. And we just kind of drank coffee, prayed, and ate, and just because, we didn't know with youth what we should be doing. Is that something we should be continuing in? And it was a really strong response it was like, I shared this with Jason, I just said, it was like, walk through the door and I'll take care of it. And that's your answer will be on the other side of this door. But there had to be that faith to be able to walk through that. And one of the things that was encouraged, even this year, we did our turkey dinner with all the fixings this year, and we had about 40 youth. And I'm just sitting there going, you know what I mean? It's just, if I wouldn't have walked through that door, this, wouldn't be happening. And it's just something that been so encouraged by that. So I'm encouraged by the relationship of sending and going. And it's interesting. I brought up one of these envelopes, and it's got some feet on it, and it's got Romans. So it's there are some people that send me a donation or sometimes just a letter. So I've got those envelopes in the back, but I'd love to hear from you. Or just if you want to send a note of encouragement or something. It just, the donation is beautiful, but the words that accompany this are much more. And So it's just a wonderful, that relationship, that interaction, I just really love. But I think it's something that we really need to just realize that when you're sending someone, you're there with them as they go. And that's part of your act of worship. And then the joy that comes from the harvester and the planter is just like amazing, like what we were able to do. And sometimes I have to pinch myself because I don't know how this is working. But God is faithful when it comes to the volunteers, our support, and the prayer that we get. So,
Thanks, Greg. Well, thank you. I just love hearing the stories, and that was an incredible word, so well put. And we just really appreciate you. And yeah, youth ministry, mission, it's such unique challenges. You don't really know what you're in for until you're in it, and it can be such a thankless job. So when you see those stories, that's just, you hold on to those. But it's that showing up that you're doing that is such a ministry. Just being there, the amount of years you've been in it, it's such a ministry, and it's so needed. And just thank you for sharing today.